Ezekiel Elliott missed day one of training camp holding out, hoping for a new contract extension. Jordan, should Ezekiel Elliott be holding out?
I think Ezekiel Elliott should definitely be holding out because if you look at the Dallas Cowboys offense, they obviously added Amari Cooper last season in that mid-year trade with the Oakland Raiders for the second-round pick, and he took the league by storm over the course of the last few weeks of the season. A 3-touchdown performance against the Philadelphia Eagles with 170 yards. And one of the top 3 receiver in the NFL, no doubt, the last few weeks of the season once he was traded. So you have him back. You have an unbelievable Hall of Fame veteran leadership tight end that came out of retirement in Jason Witten. You have key young receivers as well, such as Michael Gallup. Obviously, they lost Cole Beasley, but Ezekiel Elliott, other than those guys, not really other than those guys, but Ezekiel Elliott is the engine that runs this offense. Without Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys' run game is next to nothing. The Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott since he's been drafted, are 28-12, making them one of the winningest teams in the NFL. The Cowboys without Ezekiel Elliott since he's been drafted are 3-3. So you just do the math there. I'd rather be 28-12 than 3-3 any day of the week just based on win percentage. That's basic arithmetic. But Ezekiel Elliott has proven to be a top 3 back in the game, and the last guy to set the market really for the running back position was Todd Gurley. And Todd Gurley, we all know what he's done. He's unbelievable. He's right there at the top. You look at the conversation, it's like Saquon, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, and when last seen, Le'Veon Bell. But just how valuable Ezekiel Elliott is to the Cowboys, if you take him off, they're a 500 team at best. If they're on the Cowboys, they're a 10-6, 11-5 Super Bowl contender, especially with that elite defense.
Now, see, I think with Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys' ceiling this year, at absolute most, it's 10-6. I think they're an 8-8, 9-7 team, ideally. They have a lot of talent, but we've seen their coaching struggles in the past. Dak Prescott hasn't necessarily shown us he's the guy. And yeah, Dak needs Ezekiel Elliott on the field, but I think at this point, and from this standpoint, day one of training camp, Elliott's looking for a new contract. Keep in mind, he has 2 years left on his rookie deal with $13 million due. And I think right now, the idea of him holding out for a new contract is a selfish move on his part, especially the Cowboys, who have had some struggles in recent years, especially in the playoffs. I think it's a selfish move on his part, and he should really be putting the team first and making sure the team succeeds, not necessarily looking for his bag when he's still tied down for 2 more years with $13 million. So here is my idea. I'm just going to throw it out there. You're going to hate me for this. I think the Cowboys should look into the possibility of trading Ezekiel Elliott.
I think that's asinine.
I think you could get some picks, maybe another running back, maybe a veteran running back in exchange for him. He's had issues with the league in the past. He was suspended 6 games last season. He has 2 years left on his rookie contract, but he could be on the decline. Remember, he hasn't had any major injuries yet. Maybe that's coming this season. Maybe that's a few years down the line. And we're in a league now where running backs are increasingly invaluable. Running backs and also to a certain extent wide receivers at this point don't necessarily earn or deserve the contracts that they're getting paid, and running backs and wide receivers are the divas of the league. You know, as long as you have a solid offensive line and a solid quarterback and a solid coaching staff, you don't really need that star running back. And sure, Ezekiel Elliott has been the one pushing the Cowboys offense, but I think, he's had problems. He's a young kid, and if this is his mindset right now, asking for more money while he still has all this time left on his rookie contract, and, the Cowboys, for what they are, they've had struggles, so he should be looking at the team and seeing how he could improve the team rather than taking money from everyone else. So I'm not saying the answer is to trade him, but I think they should really look into that possibility.
See, I'm with you on the fact that Ezekiel Elliott would be making a selfish move by holding out. But right now, Ezekiel Elliott's 24 years old. At this point in his career, with 2 years left on his rookie contract and a $13 million in 2 years, he has all the leverage in the world to hold out, and here's why. They took Ezekiel Elliott with the 4th overall pick in the draft. And traditionally, over the course of the last few years, you look at the guys that go in the top 10 really, really high that are the running backs. There's been Saquon Barkley, hit the league by storm. Ezekiel Elliott, hit the league by storm. Leonard Fournette, over 1,000 yards in 13 games. We've really yet to see what he's able to do, but I'm a strong believer in him. So guys that are taken in the top 10 of the draft at the running back position in the last few years have seemed to trend in hitting the league by storm.
But
real quick.
Zeke has also been running behind that Dallas O-line for his entire career.
That is true. But he's Ezekiel Elliott. And before the Rams signed Andrew Whitworth this past 2 years ago to really increase the ability of their offensive line, Todd Gurley was still Todd Gurley. He's the best. Andrew Whitworth is debatably the best left tackle in the league, and he's still Todd Gurley. He was still Todd Gurley
yeah,
before
but
that.
how valuable is the running back position now? I mean, obviously, Todd Gurley is a very talented player. He's probably the best running back in the league. But when the Rams got C.J. Anderson last season, he was able to fill those holes just fine.
Correct.
So if the Cowboys just take a small downgrade at running back, maybe in exchange for Ezekiel Elliott with a few picks, is that really the worst thing in their case? And that would push Dak Prescott to work harder and maybe play better for this $30 million contract he's going to be asking for.
Just based on the fact that it's the Dallas Cowboys and they're already automatically impaired when it comes to playoff performance just because of their coaching staff, they need Ezekiel Elliott more than Ezekiel Elliott needs the Dallas Cowboys because he's 24 right now. By the time his rookie contract's up, they're going to franchise tag him once or twice, and by the time he's 28, they're going to be like, oh, well, the age for running backs to quote-unquote decline is 30, so we're not going to pay you. So in terms of having the leverage to hold out, right now is the time for Ezekiel Elliott, and I believe based on him getting his money, I believe he should.